Hi, so in a few of the videos we've been looking at frequency, making things vibrate, and how we can change the way that things vibrate, and we've been doing that through musical instruments. Mostly because, well, I can think of three good reasons. One, it's really fun, all by itself, and music is great. Two, if you wanted to, you could actually make and sell these things because you could make some beautiful instruments out of it that are very popular at the moment. And three, I can't think of a better way than working out how frequencies work, how things vibrate, because they're fundamental to the universe and really important in things like energy generation and electronics. So it's a great topic to actually be looking at, I was thinking. Now, I'm constantly looking at simplifying things and making things that could be scavenged or purposed or used from other materials. It's kind of a mission of mine, really. So I thought I'd give it a go in making one of these tongue drums, but with found materials and the most basic of tools. So I'm trying to do this with nothing more than a chop saw and a drill, and this is what I've come up with. Now, I found a whole load of this stuff. It's oak floorboard, actually. It was taken up because the floor was damaged, and I got a stack of it. But if you look in the store, you'll often find that tail ends of that are sold. So you'll find a pack that is no longer being used, and it'll be something like a third of the price or a quarter of the price of what the full pack was. So solid wood flooring actually can be found, or it can be bought really, really cheaply. Now, you do have a limitation. I mean, I've got oak, which is great stuff, but the whole thing's made out of oak. But that doesn't matter, I don't think, because these tongue drums can be made out of the best materials, which are a certain set of tone woods, or just about any material at all, including MDF. Now, what we're looking for, I think, when you're making an item that you might be wanting to sell, is it's got to be relatively cheap for you to produce. It's got to be quick for you to produce. It's got to look attractive to the potential buyer, and it has to give a nice sound. Now, purists obviously want a perfectly pitched instrument made out of the right woods, and you won't be selling to purists. It's actually unusual to sell those high-end things. It's a bit like setting up a car shop and asking yourself, do you sell Rolls Royces or Minis? You'll sell a lot of Minis. You won't sell that many Rolls Royces. You will make more of a margin on Rolls Royces, but to be honest, I think they're a pain to sell. Aim for selling Minis. You'll sell more of them, and they're an easier sell on the whole, or they're a bit more of a volume sell. So looking for places where you can find woods would be things like discarded flooring, old furniture, or the big box store that's having a sale on flooring. And then choosing nice woods that you can put into a pretty package that give a nice mellow sound. So that's the objective. It's to do something like that with woods that I have available to me with a minimum tool set, and I'm using floorboards as it happens. I've got a thing here. It's actually really simply built. All I've done is attach a couple of floorboards to the base, obviously chop them off to length. Then I've put a block of wood in here to hold everything square. This is a floorboard, this is a floorboard. Then I've got this thing here, this mysterious lump of timber. It's actually a piece of oak, and I've drilled it out to take my tongues for the tongue drum. On the other side, I drilled it slightly further and whacked in a load of bolts, because the idea here is that will sit there like that. The tongues will go on, and I'll use this rather pretty bolt to go through that and hold the tongues down onto the drum. That's the plan. Now, obviously, to finish this box, I've got a couple of sides that I've made up. They just go on the box like that. And then this other side goes on like that, completing my box. These will obviously already be in, and then I've got another couple of bits of timber that I'm going to put there, and that will actually finish my box. So it's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 bits of timber there to make the actual box. Then we're going to cut the keys and obviously put the keys in there. Now I'm just going to assemble the rest of this and give you a look at it when it's assembled. So there's the finished box. Now, obviously what we could do is put the same top on that we did in one of the previous videos and just strike that. Now, all I've done to finish this box is, like I say, I put on the side pieces, put on these pieces with the nuts in them, and then these bits here. And I could put that on there, in which case I can then use a hammer and strike these if I fastened them down. But to be honest, that was a bit of a pain to make. So I thought, hey, how about go back to a glockenspiel but use a single fixed arm? So I've got some wood there, it's a bit of oak actually, and I bought it just like that. So I put a saw cut in it, you can see the pencil mark there, and I did the same arrangement that I did on this thing. So I just took half and then progressed by a centimetre. Cut them into blocks, put my little channel down the side there, and now they will screw onto there using these really rather pretty 8mm bolts. And we can use that to fasten them down and see what kind of note we get out of them. Okay, there it is, pretty much finished. Now it was a really simple build made from scrap floorboards, but I think you could do a whole host of things with this actually. I made the box, but I don't think you strictly need to. I mean, I think a wall cupboard would do just as well, or a bathroom cabinet. Any kind of wood that you could make into a box, maybe a wooden drawer or something like that. Just a ton of ways you could make this basic box. And then once you've made the basic box, obviously, you're making the keys. Now, we could, like I say, have made a big block of keys, and that seems to be the favourite way of doing it on the internet, getting yourself a nice big bit of timber and cutting a pattern into it. I don't think that's strictly necessary, or it's clearly not necessary, and I think it's more difficult than it needs to be. You just get some straight bits of timber and cut that router rebate in the back as we looked at in the previous video. These actually have a very nice response. Now I've used what I think are pretty bolts, but anything will do really, to be honest, and these haven't been tuned yet. Now one of the advantages of this is you can tune each note separately. With the other one, you have to tune them all as one piece. And to be honest, if you mess up, you mess up that entire piece. Here, you mess one of these up, well, you just cut yourself another one. If you want to change the wood, then just change the wood. If you want to change the note, you could change the thickness. So it becomes much more adaptable, I think, as well as much easier to make, because you don't have to follow a pattern. You just cut them out on the chop saw to the length that you want, and if you watch the previous video, you'll know that's fairly random. If you didn't, you need to watch all about tongue drums, because it explains all about this tongue arrangement we've got here. Now the sound is actually quite nice, even though it's not tuned. You get quite a nice sound out of that. So I've still got to tune it, still got a little bit of finishing work. This is going to my brother as a present, so I want to finish it quite nicely. But I wanted to share that with you, this design idea of having the tongue separate, to make everything that much easier to build, that much easier to tune, and if you make a mistake, that much more forgiving. So I hope it was of help, I hope you enjoyed it. I do think it'll make a really good craft project for somebody, because they can be made cheaply and quickly and give a very nice sound. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much.